Today we're going to be talking about candle making in colonial America. Now, candle making has been around for probably 2,000 years. People have always needed light in the evening to do various tasks. So when the Pilgrims arrived 400 years ago, they brought with them life skills that they needed to survive, and one of those life skills was candle making. Candle making was primarily done by the women of the house. Often they may have received help from their young daughters. And it was done in the fall when the weather had cooled down a little bit. Candle making outside is a challenge. Having done it as a reenactor, the slightest breeze will kind of take your wax and harden it up. So to keep an open fire going and to be able to dip between 500 and 700 candles in the course of a day could have been a challenge. You needed the weather to be just right. So candles were made from three primary things. The first type and the most common in a colonial home would have been tallow or animal fat. Now, candles made from animal fat were very soft, and as you can imagine, they probably did not smell very good. And they also burned quickly, and they made a lot of smoke. So an 8-inch candle that was made from tallow would probably burn for about 45 minutes. The second type, so if you were a little more wealthy, you might have access to beeswax. Beeswax was a lovely yellow color. It had a wonderful smell and was also made harder candles. And they would have burned probably 3.5 to 4 hours. The last type was bayberry candle. Bayberry candles just happen to be my favorite. They have such a wonderful smell and a beautiful pale green color, and those are the kind of candles we're going to be making today. The only problem with bayberry is you would have to collect bayberries, which grew along the Atlantic coast on bushes, but they were very tiny. They were actually probably smaller than blueberries. In fact, I know they were. And you needed 10 pounds of berries to make 1 pound of candle wax. And 1 pound of candle wax probably would make maybe 50 candles. So the average household would have gone through between 500 and 700 candles a year. So you'd need a lot of bayberry. So today I'd like to show you, I have some candles that I've already started, but I want to kind of show you the process since we're not going to be able to do this at school. What I start with is a wick. Now, I purchased this wick at a craft store, but in colonial times they would have used pieces of flax that were spun together into a string. Now, flax is also used to make linen, which my clothes are made from, and they would spin it on a spinning wheel. So what I did was I have made these little starter candles using paraffin or just white wax. And what I did earlier today was I tied a little metal nut and dipped it in a few times, so that way I have nice straight candles. So as you dip into the hot wax, which I have on the stove here, ordinarily this would be outside over a campfire. It has a bucket of water, and the wax is placed inside so it's melted. The yellow candles that you see here, these are made from beeswax, and this is what a finished candle would look like. So I kind of have mixed them over the years, so they're kind of a combination of bayberry and beeswax. But as you see, the more you dip, and it takes about 25 dips to make a complete candle. Here's the bayberry, the lovely green color, and these are finished candles, and you can see that this would probably burn about 4 hours. And what else is good about candles made from bayberry and beeswax is they didn't drip. I have a candle going over here, candles that I bought at TJ Maxx, and they're dripping all over the place. So what would happen is the colonial ladies would have a stick like this. So they would have many of these maybe 10, 15 at a time, and they would have a really big pot of hot wax, and they could dip several at a time. So that way they could make 500 to 700 candles in the course of a day. That would be a lot of work doing it the way I do it. So I have 3 of these started. So when we're finished dipping 25 times, we'll have 6 new candles. I have a candle rack, as you might be able to see over here. It's like a drying rack, and that's where the candles would need to cool. I did forget something, so I'm going to get a bucket of water and I'll be right back. This is very challenging to do it this way. Sorry about that. Preparation is key. So I have a bucket of cold water here. The cold water is needed. So after you dip the wicks into the hot wax, you need to cool it quickly. Because if you don't and you dip it again too soon, you're going to end up with lumpy, bumpy candles that have air pockets. And when your candle is lit, it will kind of spark. So we don't want that to happen. So anyway, so we are ready to go. I'm going to move you a little closer so you can see my stove. And remember, this is 21st century. This is not the way the colonial ladies would do it. So what we're going to do is you're going to put them in and count. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we dip them in the water. Cool them down. The reason we have to do it quickly is because if I leave these in, what's going to happen? It's going to melt right off. So the part that I've already dipped and cooled is going to melt away, and you'll just keep ending up with wicks. So you have to do it very slowly and steadily and in the water. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Into the water bath to cool it down. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And there we go. And if they do get a little crooked, you can just pull them with your finger. The wax really isn't hot. It's warm, so you could handle it. If I stuck my finger in there, pulled out, it doesn't burn. It's just a nice warm wax. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the stick. So I'll kind of speed this up a little bit. We're not going to make complete candles because it would take a little bit too much time. I just want you to get the general idea of how it's done. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and into the water. If you look, sometimes this happens. It gets stuck together. You just pull them apart. You could try this at home if you can order wax for candle making. You can order it at any craft store, and all I took was an old pot and another old pot, and you can do it at home. You could try it with yarn, or you could try it with string. I have wick that I bought which burns nicely and slowly. I'm not sure, I've never tried it. I don't know what would happen. So I also want to show you over here, colonial homes would have had, if you were inside your house, you would probably have what is called a candle tray. And these are the TJ Maxx candles that are dripping everywhere. And it would be something you would use when you were carrying in the house, or if you were going to bed, you put it next to your nightstand. Candles would not be carried outside because what would happen when the wind would blow or the air would hit it, the candles would go out. Inside, they had what was called a candle snuffer, which would put the candle out safely, because you know sometimes if you blow a candle out, there might be sparks. And considering that your bed was made out of straw and grass, that would not be safe. So they would use a candle snuffer that would just put the candle out like that. Pretty cool, huh? If you were going outside, I'm not going to touch these because they're extremely hot. You would need a mitt or something to protect your hands. As you know, heat rises, so the tops of these holders are extremely hot. I've burned myself, I know. So this type of lantern here, I'm going to get a mitt to show you, would have been used if you were going outside, you were going out to the barn or out to check on the animals. So this was made by a tinsmith, and it has lots and lots of punched holes in it. It's not only just to put a lot of light, but also just to make it pretty. And inside I have a beeswax candle burning. This is another type of candle lantern. It would have been a type of ship's lantern. And this also has panes of glass around it. Glass was also something that a lot of colonial people didn't have because glass was expensive, and oftentimes only the wealthy had glass, even windows in their house. You could tell how wealthy a family was by the number of windows in their home. So candles were extremely important, and I hope that you enjoyed our video, and possibly if you get a chance you could maybe try to make it sometime. It's a wonderful, fun activity, and the smell is really awesome. I remember when I was in fifth grade, I went to Sturbridge Village, and I remember my favorite part was I got to buy a bayberry candle and bring it home. So if you ever get to go to Sturbridge Village with your family when everything gets back to normal, you could probably still purchase bayberry candles there. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you again soon.